stories. A couple of them come to mind. One of them happened many, many years ago. Evan was a baby, and I was nursing him. Annie was about 2, and Evan was somewhere around probably 8 months old. And in that season of my life, the thing that I would do every afternoon is I would watch Oprah. And I watched Oprah. Now, this is a long time ago. This was Oprah's first year on the air. Long time ago. And so this was what I would do. And so Oprah was running this contest. It was February, and she was running the Best Husband contest. And I decided I was going to enter my husband into the Best Husband contest. So I wrote a letter, and I sent it in, and one Thursday afternoon, I got a phone call from the Oprah show. And they said, "You didn't win." However, I lived in Illinois. I was within driving distance of Chicago, where the show is shot, and they said, "We're inviting runners-up, those that kind of made it into the finals, to be a part of the studio audience. Would you like to come?" I said, "Golly, I got to think about that." And so they said, "Well, I'm sorry, you need to tell us now, because the show is tomorrow, and you need to tell us now." I know, I couldn't believe it. So anyway, this is in the day and age before email and before the web and all that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking, how can I make these arrangements? But I had a friend who was over at the time, and she's kind of overhearing my conversation, and she's in the background going, "Go, go, go." And I'm like, "I can't go." And she's like, "Go, I'll take care of your kids." And so finally I thought, okay, I'm just going to tell him I'll go. So I said yes, and began to try to figure out how to plan this. That Mark was at school that day, and he came home, and I kind of surprised him that we were going to go to Chicago. We had to be at the Oprah, the studio, at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And so we decided we had to drive up to Chicago, 2 hours to get up there, but a snowstorm came in that night. So we left in a big hurry, and somewhere along the way, somebody I had talked to that day had told me that there was a very inexpensive hotel in downtown Chicago, which is, you know, kind of unheard of. And my husband was in seminary at the time, so we were living in married student housing. We had no money, and so I thought, okay, that'll work. So I had called, and I had made reservations at the hotel, and when they answered, they had told me, this person had said it was like a Ramada Inn, but they didn't answer Ramada Inn, and I said, well, I thought this was Ramada, and they said, well, it was until last week, but we just changed owners. And I thought, well, if it was Ramada last week, it should be okay. So we get up there, and we find our way to this hotel, but it takes us extra long because of the snowstorm, and we stopped and helped some people that were off in the ditch along the way a couple of times, and we get up there about 2 o'clock in the morning. We get up there, and we find the hotel, and we walk into the hotel, and we immediately realize this is a hotel people rent by the hour. So we're thinking, what do we do? We have no money. We can't go just find another hotel. What do we do? And so both of us said, oh, let's just like get to the room and like close, like put furniture in front of the door, you know. It was in a bad part of the town. And so we literally had to step over people who were passed out in the hallway and got to our room and put furniture. There were already bars on the window, so, you know, that should have been our first clue. But I mean, it was freezing. We couldn't sleep in our car. We had no money. We had to make it work. So we slept that night very little and got to the Oprah show the next morning. But when I got up, I realized I had a horrifying realization. I had left my breast pump at home. Oh, see, you girls feel the pain, don't you? Oh, it was bad. And I think because it was so crazy the night before, I just hadn't noticed it, but I woke up so engorged, and I was just like, oh, this is horrible. So I did my best to express some milk and make myself enough comfortable to go to the show. We got to the show, and then we got in our car to start driving back home, the 2-hour drive back down to our home in Normal, Illinois. Now, I got to probably about 45 minutes down the road, and I said, Mark, you've got to stop. Every rest area, you've got to stop. Now I want to paint a picture for you, ladies. I had on a calf-length sweater dress. So he pulls into the rest area. I go into the bathroom. I hike the sucker all the way up. Pour my liquid gold down the toilet. And I get back in the car and we drive another 30 minutes to the next one, and I do the same thing again. The things we do for love. Oh my gosh, another story that comes to mind. This happened right after Austin was born, and Austin is our fourth child to be born, and so I was just so exhausted, and my body was not back in shape. In fact, 5 days after I had Austin, I went to Erica's kindergarten open house. I left Austin at home with my mom and went to Erica's kindergarten open house and had a woman that walked up to me and said, "So when are you due?" Yeah, that's how much my body was not back in shape. And so anyway, I finally ventured out. Austin was probably about a month old, and I thought, I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to finally go to the grocery store by myself, with the exception I had to take the baby. Mark took care of the other ones, and so I thought, I can do this. I can do this. And I got myself to the grocery store, and you know, every time you have a new baby, they have newfangled equipment. And so I had this new little car seat that would move from the car seat, you know, like, and you could, you know, take it out and use it as a little seat for the baby. And it hooked on, it had these two little hooks that would hook onto the toddler seat of a shopping cart, so that, you know, you would hook it on there so nobody could just grab the baby and run. And so I hooked him on there, and I'm thinking, I am doing really well today. And I began to push the cart up to the door of the store, and I thought that I was heading up like the wheelchair ramp, but I didn't realize I was missing it by just a few inches. And as I hit the lip of that curb, Austin flipped over into the back, and he's hanging there. Flipped him back over. The poor kid's eyes were like as big as baseballs. He never cried. I don't think he knew what hit him. Oh my gosh. And you know what my next thought was after that? Who saw that? We have all done silly things and things that we regret and places that we wish we could go back and do it over again. We've all been there.